The polyamorous spirit. Let's get into it. The polythesis, poly, monogamy, however you want to basically call it. See, it's a difference with the spectrum. You got to understand and understand. These terms, these words, these phrases was created by man and woman, people. So, of course, this is an idea and this is a concept. So, of course, if you're the face of the party, you're going to have certain ideas and certain textures that you basically going to touch upon and basically put this out into the world. So it's not a circumstance situation where it's a right or wrong, but of course, it's not what you're doing, it's how you do it. And of course, if you ain't doing it right, then what's the whole purpose? You defeat the purpose. And of course, we all got a purpose in life and we have a purpose to expand. So if you're not expanding, using your purpose, then of course your purpose get remixed. And of course you don't want your purpose to basically get remixed or flipped. So that means you got to make sure that whatever you're doing and whatever you're setting your attentions to is going to basically bring you happiness and peace. Because of course we all know that everybody got free will out here. And of course free will comes with consequences if you're not aware of the general consequences that basically come with it. See, we may have minor consequences, but of course, it's big consequences that's out here ready to basically cap your ass and control your ass and trap your ass and put your ass in a box. And of course, once you get put into a box, then it's really hard to get out of that box because you put yourself in that box. You only the one that's in control of this lifestyle that you're in. And of course, if you're not into the spectrum or the energies of controlling what's going on to your life, then of course you're going to get washed up. And of course, when you get washed up and shit, you come on the surface. And people are going to start looking at you because like, damn, this whale don't belong here. This whale belong in the ocean, a.k.a. internally. The internal waters is basically correct. So if they do come out, oh, we see you. But of course, if your ass get washed up on the current, then of course, you got to get picked up by the ambulance. People is going to discover you. And of course, now you're out there and exposed because of course, you showed your hand. And of course, you're not supposed to bite the hand that feeds you. So of course, if your hand feeding you and you're biting it, which means you're not biting it right, feel me? And the covers is not being bitten right, then of course it's gonna get exposed out there and put out there on Front Street or Back Street. And of course you don't want this shit to basically play out into that position. You wanna make sure your shit is right. You wanna make sure your garden is correct. You wanna make sure your Eve is right. You wanna make sure your Adam and Eve is in the right spectrum, fucking in the right position, is not going from tree to tree, trying to look for harvestation or look for ways to basically fulfill themselves. No, you're already fulfilled. You're already successful. Why are you going all over the place to look for other shit? It's cool to expand and grow, but of course, you got to have your own seeds when you come into other trees and shit. If you just eating off trees and shit, might have a worm in that shit. Might have the serpent in that shit. And of course, when you eat that shit, you don't want that shit to happen. So you got to be very careful. See, now this is a circumstance situation. Now, what is polygram? See, polygram is basically someone and someone else and others agreeing to the terms and conditions of multiple relationships. Now, you got to also question this shit too, cool. Because you're already a person and you already have a whole lot of responsibilities in your whole life in general. Now, you about to basically put yourself in a circumstance situation of having another responsibility by worrying about another person. So that's problem number one, which is you. Then you got a problem number two, which is somebody else. Of course. Then you worry about another relationship. Now that's problem number three. That's too many problems. That's too much circumstances. That's too much situations. And there's nothing wrong with having a poly relationship. But if you don't know how to set the tables right, and of course, if y'all don't have your own table, where y'all can basically come to the table and eat together with no issues, then y'all gonna fuck up right there. Ain't no point in having a poly relationship. This is called a poly demon. This we're gonna call it the poly demons. You got poly angels and you got poly demons. Now, if you got a poly angel, then that means y'all both are vibrating and elevating on a higher frequency that y'all basically are compatible with to come and create concrete and build things up. Now, if y'all on a polar shift on the opposite, this is a circumstance situation where y'all poly demons, which means y'all listen to y'all lower animalistic desires. And of course, when you get too lost down there in that chakra and not using this chakra, which is your crown chakra, you get lost into your sex chakra, your lower animalistic organs. And of course, when you play too much of light on that energy, you start to put yourself in phrases. And of course, you don't want to call phrases yourself. You want to put yourself in a position where you can actually elevate and, of course, create. It's one thing to basically have sex multiple times or hit this multiple times, but after a while, you're going to get tired. And if you're not manifesting anything out of her premarital waters, when you pull out of that thing, or basically, you're supposed to actually shoot your shot in her, not pull out of her, because this is a circumstance situation where if you're just basically having sex and you're not creating or manifesting or actually coming together to basically create a frequency or a vibration, an energetic force and field that y'all can basically create a Star Wars and, of course, come together and create stars, big stars, bright stars, wonderful stars. And, of course, y'all stars get washed up. Y'all stars get dried out. And, of course, y'all get burnt out. This way, y'all don't merely manifest anything. Y'all just lost to y'all desires. After a while, it's going to get tired. After a while, it's going to get boring because y'all ain't really manifesting anything. And, of course, the sex is going to be boring because y'all ain't got no topics to basically talk about during sex. Y'all ain't really actually trying to create something. Y'all just lost into, oh, I'm horny. Oh, this is horny. Let's get it popping. Let's get it rocking. And, of course, you know you get attacked by trillions of spirits every goddamn day. So you don't know what spirit is basically inside of you telling you, okay, let's go have sex. Because remember, the eyes is the key to the soul. So what you're paying attention to, which it can be trillions of shit you're paying attention to. Spirits take many shapes and forms. No matter what the circumstance situation is or the object, spirit will take any shape and form. And of course, spirits basically enhanced by the light. So when you get too enhanced by the light, and not your own light within, you ain't creating. If you're not creating a light within, then your inside is gonna be blasphemous, which means that you're gonna be living out of tact. You're gonna be living out of chaos. And of course, chaos is not cool, because if you're not at balance internally, then it's going to put you in this phrase of being unbalanced externally. So, of course, if you're unbalanced internally, then things in your life that you're trying to manifest will not go into your favors. You will never be a happy person. Why? Because you're not happy within yourself. Because if you was happy within yourself, you wouldn't be looking for a poly relationship. Now, even if you was looking for a poly relationship, even though you was happy within yourself, that don't really cut the differences, because you only need one partner that you can basically come together with. Now, if you need two partners, then that means you're not happy with your partner. Probably you're not happy with yourself 10 times out of 10, because if you ain't happy with yourself, then you ain't going to be happy with your partner, because 10 times out of 10, if you're happy with yourself, you want to be with somebody that you're not happy with. So, of course, this is going to create the separation right here. Now, if your partner is not bringing you happiness, then 10 times out of 10, you need to tell your partner that, yo, I'm not happy. And, of course, we need to change areas. We need to switch things up. And if things don't switch up, then, of course, we're going to have to go our own path. If she ain't willing to basically switch up, then basically leave her ass. If he ain't willing to switch up, basically leave his ass. Because ain't no purpose of y'all basically creating a bridge and y'all fucking up and y'all not basically building the bridge together. How the fuck your kids going to pass from the bridge and move on and basically expand the generation if y'all generation that y'all creating right now is already fucked up together? To me. So that's the whole purpose of not even putting yourself into a potty relationship if y'all motherfuckers don't know how to potty train yourselves, which means take care of your own shit, take care of your own problems. Ain't no point in basically having a potty relationship. Y'all can't basically do that, period. Now, the whole terms of when this shit was created, for me, people, places, and things, look, feminine, females, males, masculine, feminine, been here for a long goddamn time. So that just means that, females, if you ain't got a female, you ain't manifesting. So you already know the female came first. The male came second. And of course, this is true, because you got to look at it like this. The sun wasn't just here. If you ain't got the moon, you ain't got the waters, you ain't got the feelings, emotions, and how the fuck is you moving? You're not going to move. You can have fire, you can have vision all you want. But of course, you got to have the internal natures, which is the feminine energies that basically have the balance equilibrium. That's why today's males should get more into their feelings and emotions a little bit, and the society made you seem like you was a bitch. If you do that, 10 times out of 10, you're not a bitch. You're just getting lost into the masculine perspective. And of course, you ain't got no feelings or emotions. You're lost into the masculine, which means you're lost into this body. That means that when you actually trying to manifest or basically create, you ain't have nothing. You're very stiff. Arthritis. Of course, you get cold, chest hardened. Of course, it's a circumstance situation that you're not properly balanced. Ain't nothing wrong with that shit. And of course, you even got to look at the chicks too. Some feminine chicks, they're pretty much in a circumstance situation. They're actually the strongest when it comes to the intuition, but when it comes to the physical perspective, they're not kind of strong, because, that's the whole purpose of getting lost too much into the physical, which creates dense and heaviness, versus the male will basically be very weak when it comes to his emotional states, because that shit not balanced. It's always the opposite in life. So this is a circumstance situation that if you ain't balanced within yourself, then that's why you have a female to come bring the balance to the male, and that's why the male got the balance where it can basically bring to the female, which means you're overindulging in too many things and too many desires and shit. 2 times out of 10, it plays out like this. If your chick feel that deep down in her heart that you're doing something wrong and you're not going to co-eds, then of course it's always going to be a circumstance situation where things may get chaotic, or she may feel the need to basically push your buttons and shit because she's actually looking out for you, trying to bring that equilibrium energy, because you may be going over the cliff and basically going overboard and doing other shit. But you got to be having balance on each other. That's why y'all both is here for each other, to balance each other out. Feel me? Also, see, it don't matter where poly relationships are emitted to, feel me? It's just like, if y'all can come together and agree to the terms and conditions of building together and working on something together, working on the temple, then of course, you can be cool with that. Everything is going to go very well and smooth. But if you're in a circumstance situation of not happy with yourself and not creating vibrational, energetic bridges to basically help you path and get through things without somebody or looking outside yourself externally, then you fuck up. So it's really not even worth the time of looking for a poly relationship if you ain't happy within yourself. Because of course, if you're not happy within yourself, you're going to bring your inner demons into the relationship. And of course, your insecurity is going to play very highly. And you don't want your insecurities to play highly. Because once this play into perspective, then things is not going to go very well, very smooth. You're going to be unhappy and unsatisfied. And of course, poly relationships already, that's a whole lot of responsibilities right there. Feel me? How the hell can you really sit here and think about one or two people at the same goddamn time? Then try to think about yourself. You're gonna live chaotically and shit. That's like trying to actually do meditation, but you got all these people inside the house making noise and shit. How the fuck you gonna be able to actually meditate in peace if you got all this damn noise and all this craziness going on in the house? It's going to be hard for you to actually, that's how it's going to basically play out. And after a while, you're going to get tired of each other because everybody wants their motherfucking space. Nobody want to be on top of each other like fucking sausages and eggs and shit. Feel me? Everybody want to be separate at times. Everybody want to have a peace of mind at times. Everybody want to have an hour or a day within themselves to basically separate from all the shit that they basically going through. Because we all going through some shit. We all go through some shit every day. So, of course, why would we want to put ourselves in positions where we got to be on top of each other, dealing with the shit day to day? Feel me? Something gonna have to give, either way you look at it. Now, again, there ain't shit wrong with this shit. Feel me? Everybody got their own opinions. Everybody got their own spectrums. But, of course, if you ain't starting up here, but if you get lost down here and shit, and lost with these two eyes and not seeing the behind the scenes of how shit is basically being played out, this is what's gonna basically trap you. Of course, you don't want to get trapped in shit. Because when you get trapped, you always put yourself in situations of having regret. And of course, you don't want to regret this shit. Feel me? That's why you got to do shit right. Yeah, it may be a trend. The motherfuckers be like, oh shit, I love to have two bitches where I can fuck them real good. Real good. And of course, 10 times out of 10, you're going to get tired of that shit. You already got tired of the first pussy. What makes you think you're going to get tired of the second pussy? And what makes you think you're going to be able to actually manage two bitches? If you're, let's not even get more lost with the B word, because women is way stronger than men. And of course, bitches is witches. Of course, every nigga got in within himself a bitch, a witch, which is his feelings and emotions. So this is not a circumstance situation where it's not a problem, it's not an issue. Just know you're gonna have to get a box of tissues for all the issues that you're gonna basically be going through. And of course, there's gonna be emotional turmoil if y'all not balanced or equalized. And if y'all not on some spiritual shit, you don't even think about trying to get into a relationship. Feel me? Y'all just getting lost into the society ways of looking at relationships, or society ways of looking at polytheism or polygamy or whatever the fuck you call it. These words don't really mean shit. Where your heart at? Where your soul at? How much basically strength that you can hold within yourself throughout the day to basically maintain yourself. Feel me? Because if you ain't got yourself, then you ain't got yourself for others. If you can't fix yourself, you can't change yourself, how you gonna change others? Feel me? It's gonna be weakness, of course. You're gonna be weak. You don't want to show your weakness. Feel me? That's why it's very important to basically know what you're getting yourself into. Do your search, and do your research within you. Within you. Look in that motherfucking mirror and question yourself. Do I need two chicks? Or do I need to basically be in love with myself? Then I can attract and manifest what I need permanently or temporarily. Which way you play it. Because of course, this body is only temporary. It's not permanent. Only thing that's permanent is your inner world. And of course, if you can maintain this properly, you could be able to actually go expand like the moon and Jupiter, aka Sagittarius. I love you.